odd to be doing this and it not be raining. Many things we can say about this from the start. To be honest, talk about the fact that yes, I am an ice bath wanker. This video will be strictly for how the deductionists can use it. You know, we could talk about the recovery benefits, the endurance benefits, the fat loss benefits, and all of this other stuff. But one of the things that we can't talk about is why I'm doing this with a shirt on. You know, as my girl Beyonce says, I don't think you're ready for this jelly. But I'll explain why the bag's in there rather than being poured in for your discretion at the moment. So we do this, we channel our Wim Hof. And that's reason number one as to why you don't put the ice in till after. I mean, let's face it, it's just for the proof of it being cold more so than anything. I have a thermometer here somewhere. Six degrees, so that's pretty cool. So, we look at putting the ice in first. The ice in after we get in. Mostly because you put the ice in first, then as you get in, as you saw, a lot of the water will get out. Unless you're one of these tiny little bird-shaped people that do them online and the water doesn't really go anywhere. I'm not a bird-shaped person, and when I get in, a lot of the water gets out. So yeah, we're looking at the fix my t-shirt. Oh, what is that? Something's gone up my top. I think it's the other part of the thermometer. Oh, ice baths primarily for use as a deductionist, as somebody who walks in this world, and why it's good for us. As I say, there are a lot of written benefits about this. You know, the recovery, the muscular endurance, the fat loss, and these all have published papers in regards to supporting the kind of evidence behind this. But more important for us today is we look at the mental health benefits of it almost. And again, that is it's published. Well, the only ones that I've really seen it published are, wow, that wasn't even close to being published. The only places I've ever seen this kind of stuff published is in sports journals. Specifically, what we're looking at is in terms of acknowledging the physical charge and the physical stress that our body will be placed under, right? Because when you get into an ice bath, by its very name alone, you should know that it isn't going to be comfortable. It's not. You could achieve some kind of relativistic comfort on the back of it, but this is where it comes to being relevant for us as deductionists and people readers and those who work in this world. We very much have to function in oftentimes stressful scenarios, and this ice bath scenario takes stock of the almost immutable link between body and mind, in that when you're feeling whatever you attribute to be a positive emotion, you know, your body outwardly reflects that. And so now when you put your body under this kind of stress with the cold temperatures, your thoughts are going to follow suit in terms of just thinking, get out, I can't really think about anything, it's painful, it's uncomfortable, you know, whatever it is, words to that effect. And just to state from the get-go, I'll be staying in this longer than what you should. I'm not an advocate of that. if you're going to do ice baths, do them properly. I'm just staying in this for the sake of the video and, moving around and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, one of the questions that I'm asked a lot is how do you train? How do you train? How do you practice? How do you get better, get sharper, more accurate, this kind of thing? Better possess, more critical and targeted reasoning skills. And this is one of the things that you can do to target that. And it is due to the kind of stressful interference of this outside temperature having an effect on what you want to do with your body and your mind as a result that you need to forge that control to say, nope, I am staying in here. Yes, it is cold, but I am going to stay in here and do whatever is needed of me at that particular time. And this happens to a lot of people who are just starting out. They kind of get blindsided by the volume of information that you would need to learn and the amount of hours that you would need to put into practice to become good at anything. I am called blindsided by that fact that leads them to being nervous when they go out and practice, confirming these deductions that they make about people or situations. What if I'm wrong? The fear on the downside of that is something that feels out of your control, something that you are subject to, not in the driving seat of, and that doesn't have to be the case. Same as when you submerge yourself close to in really cold water. I'm starting to dither now a bit. Intrusive thoughts telling you to get out, sit still. This is a tip I saw from Andrew Huberman, who's a very popular neuroscientist online.
Today we are going to discuss the use of deliberate cold exposure for health and performance.
In that, when you get in for the first time, there is this want to try and sit still and achieve some kind of relativistic comfort in amongst all of this cold that you're experiencing, when you should be moving around like I'm doing my best every now and again to pull my back off, but this tub is too small for me. I'm a chunky boy, so it's kind of a challenge for me to move around in and not be pressed up against something. So I have to use this to kind of pull my back away from the sides and reinvigorate that cold in that way. But that is, or rather it could be, considered an allegory for the way that we train and practice and work as deductionists, given the volume of information that we need some semblance of competency with, and the continual research that's developing around the work that you're already doing. So the constant need to stay on top of things, it can be this daunting thing that you seek to find some kind of relativistic comfort or capability in. This is why there is so many snake oil salesmen taking advantage of that. Use these 3 steps to guarantee you this, use these 5 steps to guarantee you that. And this way of life ain't that. It will never be that. And so being able to take control of that little voice that lives inside of your head that tells you things are one way when in fact they are quite another is a feat that we really should take great pains to be able to practice and develop and work with. Because whereas I've said to many of my students, given the volume of people that there are on this planet, there is no way that we can prepare for every situation that would occur, because that number is far too big. What we can do is prepare ourselves for the possible eventuality of almost any scenario and our reaction to it. If we be really, really semantic about the neurology behind fear and our physical responses to it, that is this link between body and mind being hijacked by outside forces. And when it comes to reasoning your way through problems in casework or whatever, You know, if it requires that kind of critical, deductive, inductive, abductive faculty, you can't be at the whim of all of the information that you're seeing. You've got to take it and process it in complete control. So you're seeing the information for exactly the way that it is. Like, for example, when I get in here, yes, it's 7 degrees, but the longer I stay in, the warmer it's going to get by virtue of me getting in. Right? That's the definition of the changing temperatures. I'm not going to really go too much into the science of it right now, but I'm warmer than the water. So I'm going to offset some of that. Might be a degree, might be 2, might be more. I don't know. I don't really know what the maths behind that are, but that's a fact. It will get warm. The ice melted. Well, it's not going to stay ice forever. And even when you look to get out, there is that immediate want to go, grab a towel, dry off, get warm. And then there's you being at the whim of that little voice that lives inside of your head that tells you things are one way when they should be considered another. You want to get out and go through your breathing methods. You want to go through gentle acclimation to the world and not immediately go back to the known, the comfortable. So ice baths are a gift for the modern day deductionist who can't always get involved in high pressure, high stress scenarios by virtue of, only taking remote assessments from home, for example. There are different intrusions to your critical thinking from there, but that changes from job to job to job. So the way we mitigate that is by bringing stress to us and bringing around comfort and control as a result. So highly recommended. Get yourself an ice bath. Not a paid sponsor at all. This is a Lumi recovery pod. If Lumi watch this and they think I'm doing them good, by all means, it could be a paid subscription. But I love your products anyway, regardless. So yeah, with that in mind, guys, we'll see you very soon for another podcast. I've got a really fun interview coming. I've had to reschedule due to some family concerns, but we should be back on track. I'm going to love you and leave you, and I'll talk to you all soon.